Welcome back, everybody, to Circuit Horde. Yeah, it's the YouTube channel where Zach and I play a bunch of games that we've hoarded over the years. That's why we call it Circuit Horde. We are doing, I guess, our last episode of Reassembly for now. We will return to this game at some point in the future, but right now we've just we can't really do much because the game is partially broken. So yeah, but
If you missed the previous episodes, what's going on is we looked into it, and because we never saw any agents throughout our world, so we looked into it and we found out that agents are kind of broken in the current state of the game because it's kind of an older game. It's been a little bit since it first came out, and agents don't really work properly. They don't spawn in anymore, so. Um, that was one of the things that we wanted to visit in our playthrough, and since we're unable to do it, we're gonna come back at a later date, probably, and try to get that going again with mods. But at the moment, we're just gonna step away from the game for a little bit and move on to other things for now.
yes, so reassembly will return in Circuit Horde Infinity War. So stay tuned for reassembly. It will come back sometime in the future. Don't know when, but after this, we're probably gonna move on to what was the next game you want to do? Pokemon Blue.
I believe it was Pokemon Blue that I wanted to work on. 'Cause,
Yeah, I'm
we
excited.
haven't done a mainline game yet. That would be super
No,
fun.
we did Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team, which was probably the most enjoyable series so far, at least for me. I'm really enjoying the Lego Star Wars series as well that we're still doing, but Circuit, sorry, Red Rescue Team was definitely the highlight of this channel so far, I think. So I'm
No,
excited to do another Pokemon game. Now, I do prefer the Mystery Dungeon games, but I think a main Pokemon game is still going to be interesting, at least for me. Um, it'll
I don't.
definitely be
I don't know if you've
interesting.
seen the end. Have you seen like a full playthrough of Gen 1 or anything?
No.
Gotcha.
Um, and
Well, you'll get
you
to
know,
see that footage.
I might save my Pokemon talk for the series.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what the current plan is. We're just gonna finish up reassembly on this episode, and we'll say goodbye momentarily to reassembly and come back to it. Maybe we could can we import the ships that we made in this first series
What do you mean?
into like our new like
A new
can
save
you
file afterward later?
yeah,
Yeah, totally.
yeah,
That's
we
definitely
can do
something we
that.
can do.
So
Right now I have a this ship on the left is a ship that I made before that Kevin had talked about, and I wanted to be able to play with at least once for this series, so I am rebuilding it in this new save of ours, just so I can show it off a tiny bit.
mhm,
Kind of
yeah.
straying from it a little bit because I know we don't have the exact resources to make it. I'm just kind of getting the bare minimum of what the ship has.
Hmm.
Probably just
Yeah.
grab that.
Um, here's some other exciting news. I will be traveling to where Zach lives, and we're gonna be recording episodes at his place.
He's gonna come beat the shit out of me. It's not on me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Uh, you know, we were talking about this the before we started recording, but I forgot. when my flight was. I know it's in April and we're recording this on March 22nd. Um, I I knew my flight was in April, but I couldn't remember exactly what day, and I looked at my email. It's March 2nd, and it's on the day of the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, so I'm really hoping I don't miss the Direct, and I don't want any spoilers. So it's like, I have to watch the Direct, and I can't look at social media or anything until I watch the Direct so I don't get spoiled. Because, of
Right.
course, it's going to be all over. I mean, how can it not?
Tamagotchi life, Kevin.
But I'm going to be flying on a 737.
It's very cool to see.
And what's interesting about that is that a 737 is the largest plane I've ever flown on. I almost always fly on 737s. I've never flown on a 747, which are huge. They are the planes with that you often see in movies that have like not two rows on both sides of the airplane. It has three rows. It has two rows on either side of the plane and then a row in the center.
Mm.
So there's two aisles on a 747, which I think is huge. Because I already feel like a 737 is already pretty big, considering it's a metal tube that is able to fly through the air.
I don't even I don't even know what the type of plane I've flown on is. I'm not a plane guy.
Well, a seven, you've if
Just
I
Alaska
I
Airlines.
know, yeah,
I don't know what
Alaska
planes they use.
Airlines 737s.
Okay, gotcha.
They use 737s. Now, I did when I went between Des Moines, Iowa, and Chicago, I flew on a really small Boeing plane. It wasn't like I don't even know what model it was. It wasn't like a two-seater plane. They have it's like an actual jet plane, but it's really small. And the reason why it's small is because they only do the flight once a day.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot of people that go between Des Moines and Chicago every day. But it's so small that it does have two rows and one aisle, but one row on one side of the plane has only one seat, and the row on the other side of the plane has two seats.
Right.
It's really small, and the aisle doesn't go down the middle of the plane. It goes down like it's shifted a little bit to like the left or to the right of the plane. And I don't know what model it is. If
Yeah,
I could probably find it.
I've only flown on smaller planes, so that's just crazy to me in general.
Des Moines to Chicago flights
Info.
plane model.
Oh, I see.
Let's see what it is. Um, it is a 1 hour and 30-minute flight, probably on average. Which kind of tells you how big the Midwest is. The Midwest is gigantic. What is also I kind of hate the Chicago O'Hare Airport.
What's wrong with the Chicago airport?
It's just like none of it's marked well. Like the Seattle SeaTac Airport is so nice. It's clearly marked, and I know the SeaTac Airport like the back of my hand. It's so easy. The layout is so
Yeah.
simple and easy to understand, but Chicago O'Hare, I've been to the Chicago O'Hare Airport like two or three times, and it's like Oh, it's just like
I
so big
just
and spread out, and you know what? I can't even tell you why I dislike it, but I dislike it.
I don't like getting stuck in SeaTac hell, per se, because like if you're coming back, you usually always, not usually, like 99% of the time, you'll have to overnight in SeaTac, and that just sucks.
Yes. If you fly into, like, the only way to fly into Alaska is through SeaTac, as far as I know. And
Right.
if you're flying into Alaska, you always have to spend the night
That's not
in the
fun.
airport. I used to get I used to rent, not rent. I used to get a room at the Red Roof Inn um in Seattle because I'm like I cannot sleep in public. I cannot sleep in an airport. Oh, you know what I forgot to do?
What's up?
I forgot to set a timer for this episode so we can keep track of time.
11 minutes, 30 seconds, about, roughly.
Okay. Uh I cannot sleep in public.
Also, real quick, while you're on that, your phone is gonna go off. Don't forget.
Oh yeah. That's true. Uh so I used to get Red Roof Inn, and it's a great hotel.
Mhm.
It's very cheap. It's clean, it's nice and everything. But I stopped renting
Yeah,
or whatever you call it from Red Roof Inn
it's because of the principle.
just because of TSA. TSA is so stressful. It sucks. And I'm like, it got to the point where I'm like, I would just rather stay awake in the airport than have to go through TSA again.
That's what I
Uh,
did.
go through TSA twice.
When I went to go visit our friend here last year, late autumn. I went down to visit. I had to stay overnight in SeaTac twice,
Oh God,
and
that sucks.
what I ended up doing is staying awake the whole time, both times. It sucked
Yeah,
because I did not want to get a hotel for staying in for like 4 hours, then wake up, then go back to the airport. It's not worth it if you're not even staying there. Yeah, I don't even know if it
yeah,
was probably less than 4 hours now that I think about it. But like it's just not worth it's not worth that much effort if I'm not gonna be staying there for that long.
yeah. Well, and you know, some people are probably like, "Oh, what's the big deal with TSA?" I mean, you just go through it, and but here's the thing. When I go up to Alaska, I stay up there for months at a time, and I take a bunch of equipment with me that I don't trust
TSA
Alaska
to F with.
Airlines to keep safe in like checked baggage.
Yeah.
So I carry all of my expensive equipment with me, carry on, and get like having TSA go through all of that is such a massive headache. So I like the thing is that if I went to the Red Roof or if I got a hotel room, I'm like I'm not spending the night in the hotel or in the airport. I would have to go through TSA twice, and it's such like
A headache.
it's already too overstimulating and stressful when I go through it the first time. So, uh, yeah, um, but yeah, I still can't find what you know. I'm on the Brave. I'm searching through the Brave
Yeah.
search engine. I should search through the Google search engine. The reason I use Brave is because Brave is such a good browser. I
Is it
was
sponsored by Brave?
No, I was introduced to it by Linux, by Ubuntu, because uh, I don't, I can't remember if Brave is the default browser for Ubuntu, but it's one of the browsers you can install, and it has a built-in ad blocker that is just so good. Like it's amazing, and it's free and open source. And if you're like me, you really value free and open source software.
Ooh.
So, uh, but Google is without a doubt the best search engine.
Yeah.
No search engine even comes close to Google in terms of quality, and we're not sponsored by Google either. But I'm just saying that. I'm just pointing out the obvious. If you ever used a computer in the last 20 years.
If you haven't, how did you get here?
Yeah. Des Moines to Chicago.
Des Moines moment.
Flight, plane. I love the Midwest. The Midwest, there's something so magical about the Midwest, like Iowa, because it's so. I used to not like it because all it is just flat farmland. But I will say, especially Des Moines, Iowa really has been, what would you call it?
Character.
It has character, but it also has been developed a lot in the last decade. And I feel like Iowa in particular is up north enough to where it doesn't get as many tornadoes as like Kansas, or like the up, like Oklahoma. Like Oklahoma, like the tornadoes they get in Oklahoma are just like apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Here we go. But Iowa, it's like beautiful flat lands, like the Dakotas. The Dakotas are that way too. Just beautiful flat land. It's like stepping into GM flat grass on Gary's mod. And but the reason it's so beautiful is because you have a completely unobstructed view of the sky. And there's something about the clouds that are so pretty. So Google AI is telling me that you're going to, if you're taking for United Airlines flights, which is what I did take United Airlines.
Yeah.
On my flight between Des Moines and Chicago. It says you'll likely be flying on either a Canada Air or Canadair regional jet 550 or a Boeing 737-900. And it definitely was not a 737, so I'm going to look up. I'm going to see what that is such a hard word to pronounce. It's Canada Air, but it's not two words. It's Canadair. Like they added the word air at the end of Canada, and I don't even know how you're supposed to pronounce that.
Well, it's probably just like Alaska Air, and you just pronounce it like Canada Air.
No, well,
No?
You might pronounce it that way, but that's not how it's spelled.
Oh, okay.
It was definitely this plane.
I can see that with my brain vision.
The Bombardier CRJ 550. This was definitely the plane I flew on. Yeah. This is exactly the plane I flew on. It was so tiny. It was so tiny for a jet plane. Would probably make a pretty cheap private jet if you're into having private jets. And you have the money. I personally can't see myself, even if I had a ton of money. I can't see myself having a private jet because of how incredibly wasteful that is.
Right. You mean you don't want to fly to your kitchen?
I think
I like those
Who
memes
was
so
it?
much. The ones I usually see are Taylor Swift.
Yeah, well, Taylor Swift
flying
is,
from her living room to her kitchen.
Let me. I think it was Meat Canyon that did a Taylor Swift animation of her flying from. No, yeah, it was. No, it wasn't. It was P. Finney. Taylor Swift makes a coffee. And it's a 45-second or 50-second long animation of Taylor Swift taking her plane from her, like, mansion to her driveway or something, and then taking her plane to the nearest Starbucks.
Funny. Is this everything you hoped for, Kevin? Just seeing this ship just tear through shit.
Yeah.
Let's go terrorize. We want to go to the center, actually. To fight the crystalline, because we actually didn't really fight the crystalline too much because our other ships couldn't really compete very well, so we'll head to the center of the map and we're gonna go fight some crystalline enemies.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember what they look like.
They're like the red faction, but they actually have worthwhile ships that don't die in 5 sections.
Gotcha. I was getting them confused with... At first I was confusing them with the Borg faction, or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
The white blocky ones. I'm like, no, that's the Borg.
The white blocked ones, yeah. They have like a light blocking on them. Make them look nice. I kid. What is that?
What is the screen? I mean, that looks like it would be an agent, but you don't see agents on the minimap, so...
There's a group. What they're called, don't kill me. There is a faction that is just made up of various random parts, and it's like a disjointed faction from like ships that kind of like stray ships that just joined them. Mm-hmm. I don't know the best way to describe it, but if that makes sense, hopefully.
Yeah.
Like a rogue faction of ships that were cast out. Is it the Outcasts? They might be called the Outcasts. Does it show it on the map?
No.
Contestant. Oh.
So
they're contesting this zone. Various random ships.
Interesting.
Ooh, can we take out a bubble base? Let's see. Maybe if I don't get lasered. I lost a couple guns.
You passed by something earlier, and I don't even know how to describe it. Well, maybe I'll try to describe it. Those black asteroid-looking things that sometimes have, like,
ships in them.
magenta stuff.
Yeah, those are ships that are. It's just like a ship part surrounded by a bunch of blocks. So they don't do anything. They just sit there and take damage.
They just sit there and look pretty.
Exactly.
They do look pretty.
Damn, am I still not able to bust through these easily?
You know, one thing I would be really interested in knowing is how this game handles its graphics and rendering. Like, clearly it's vector art, which is so cool. Like, you almost really never see vector art in games anymore. Um, I mean, not to like this degree. So I would really be interested in kind of
knowing more about that.
Yeah. Because, like, when you think of games with vector graphics, you think of, like, old, like, 1970s games, like, Asteroids and stuff like that,
Yeah,
where the ship is, like, a triangle. But here's the really cool thing about that, is that the Godot engine, which is my engine of choice, I love the Godot engine. Like I said earlier in this episode.
My homies love the Godot engine.
Free and open source software is very near and dear to me, and the Godot engine is the blender
Holy
of
shit.
game engines. Oh my god,
that almost obliterated me. I swear to God, if that hit me, I would have been dead.
There are some type of node, and I won't explain nodes or anything, but if you know anything about the Godot engine, you know what a node is, because it's the basic building block you use in the Godot game engine. But there's a certain node you can use called, I think it's called Line 2D, and you can basically achieve vector graphics with the Line 2D node. It's really cool. I thought about playing around with it. So if you wanted to make like a game inspired by those old, like, 1970s style games that draw lines on the screen, then Line 2D, the Godot game engine, makes it very easy to do.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm not a coder though, so I don't know if I'll use that information.
The thing about the Line 2D node in Godot is that, of course, if you are familiar with coding and programming, it's obviously going to be a lot easier, because you can anything in the Godot engine you can manipulate through code. But you don't necessarily need to use code to make Line 2D nodes draw lines. You can specify points at which the Line 2D node will draw lines. It's the thing about the Godot engine is that it's very powerful, but it's also very easy to learn and use, in my opinion. The amazing thing about it is that the
one downside.
Let me look up.
It's caught very easy.
I think Unreal Engine is also amazing. It's an amazing engine. Like, I think Unreal Engine is so cool as well. But the Unreal Engine 5, the entire engine is like at least 30 gigabytes in size.
Isn't that the one that recently had a bunch of controversy around it? Unreal?
You might be thinking of Unity.
I'm probably thinking about Unity.
I don't
Unreal
like Unity.
Unreal is the one that's used by a lot of people.
Unreal Engine is used by a lot of AAA studios are switching to Unreal Engine because One, a lot of these AAA studios have their own proprietary engines, and the issue with that is not only are you having to make a game, but you're having to maintain an engine at the same time. Like, you can't. So, the thing about a lot of these studios switching to Unreal Engine is that a lot of the time, Unreal Engine is more capable than their own in house engine. And the other thing about Unreal Engine is that they don't have to spend any time or effort or money maintaining the engine they're using because it's being maintained by somebody else. Uh, but anyway,
So any like updates
uh,
they don't even have to worry about. They're being taken care of.
yeah,
That's pretty
Unity
fair.
Unity is used by both uh, everywhere in between AAA and indie devs, and I personally do not like Unity. I just don't like the way you use it and stuff. I think I really love Godot Engine, not just because it's free and open source, but it's so easy. It's so easy to understand and use, and it's very straightforward. Um, I would say if you want to if you want to learn how to make video games, the best engine to use to learn how to make video games is probably the Godot engine. I think the Godot engine is really easy for beginners, but it's powerful enough for
That mother.
seasoned
So if you're
game
wondering what just
developers.
happened, I want to point out real quick. Sorry to interrupt. Um, that ship was equipped with nukes.
Gotcha.
The large glowing projectile is a nuke, and it does a shit ton of splash damage. And I just got caught up in it, and it obliterated my whole ship. Kinda hard to dodge. Not hard to dodge, I should say, but kinda hard to survive, I should say,
Yeah.
if you do get caught up with a blast. I do not miss. One thing I do not miss about this ship is how easily it gets caught up in tight corridors.
Yeah, it's pretty wide.
You can sometimes like turn sideways like this and just drift through, but for the most part, you're kind of getting stuck on that kind of stuff a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
That is an interesting like flaw though with the ship. Like it's not I think that's interesting because like it's a very powerful ship, but it's not so overpowered in the sense that its maneuverability is not always ideal. But anyway, the point I was making with like Unreal Engine 5 being like over 30 gigabytes in size, the Godot 4.4 engine, which is the most recent version. Now we're gonna be getting 4.4.1 here in like the next week or two, but it's gonna be pretty much the same. The Godot 4.4 engine is only 147 megabytes compared to the over 30 gigabytes that Unreal Engine needs. So it's such a small engine that it's so lightweight. And I mean, now, yes, thumb drives these days are pretty big, where you could easily store 30 gigabytes on a thumb drive. But here's the thing, the Godot engine is just a single exe. There's no libraries or anything. It's all just packed in to a single binary, like exe, and it's amazing. Now, that is the Godot 4.4 engine, the usual engine. Now, if you were to use the mono version of Godot, might be different. I personally don't use mono. I just use the regular. Or if you compile the engine with double precision floats, the engine effectively doubles in size. So the Godot 4.4 build with double precision floats is 282 megabytes in size. still tiny, but it's funny because if you were to if you were to
Jesus.
go back to like if you were to go back to like 1995 and you were to say, oh, 282 megabytes, that's tiny, they would
Yeah.
be like, what are you talking about? That's like, I have to pay like, this is, I don't know, I
An
don't know how
exorbitant
much a
amount of
hard,
money.
yeah, I don't know how much a hard drive of a 300 megabyte hard drive costed in 1995, but I'm sure it was pretty expensive. So, yeah, these days 282 megabytes is pretty small, especially for
Like
an
our phone would
entirely,
be like an entire fucking bottom floor of a building.
yeah, yeah, for real. Like, you know what was kind of what was kind of funny when I was building the current computer that I'm using. Um, back when I built my first computer, it was when solid state drives were just coming out. And I'm like, man, I would love to have a solid state drive. And of course, the solid state drives back then you had to connect with SATA ports the same way you would
Yeah.
connect a hard drive. Now we have M.2 SSDs that have their own special slots, which are
You say that
immense.
I'm not a computer guy. When did SSDs come out?
Probably like the late 2000s, early
Okay.
2010s,
Okay. Because I built mine
early
in
20.
2010 and I also had a SATA cable. I was just wanting to.
You built your first computer in 2010?
Not 20, no, 2016, I said. Did I
Oh,
say
I thought
2010?
you said 20. Yeah, you said 2010.
Sorry.
I thought you
If
did.
I did, I'm sorry, but I thought I said 2016. Anyway, I use SATA cables to connect it, but you were talking about
Oh,
that, and I'm like, yeah, I did build a new one that's using just like M.2 plugged into right into my
yeah.
hard drive, which is a lot
I
nicer.
I don't have a well, and M.2 is immensely faster than SATA as well, which like not only is it more convenient, but it's so much faster. And I don't have a single hard drive in my computer now. They're all
Okay.
SSDs, but back when I built my first computer, I was like, man, I would love to have an SSD, but they're just way too expensive right now, and I don't know if it's worth it. So, but now it's like
Oh, it's
as
Bobby
like
here.
I don't really know why somebody would want a hard drive unless they were doing mass storage. Like if you were
Oh.
doing like I would say hard drives
Yeah,
are still
my new one, I didn't even go with any hard drives. I just went with a larger SSD to act as a quote unquote hard drive to store a large amount of files.
yeah. I mean, hard drives are still very useful
Yeah.
for massive storage. Like if I were to build something like a Minecraft server or a game like anything like that, I would definitely put a hard drive in for like world backups.
Yeah.
Uh,
I just don't
but
need that much space. Like, I think my SSD, I think I have an SSD that's like 2 or 4 terabytes. Let me
yeah,
check. Let me check. I can just check right now, real quick. So I have uh 1 terabyte hard drives and a 3 terabyte hard drive. The 3 one, I'm just like using it in the same way that I would have used my hard drive on my old computer. Is that I just store mass files on that.
yeah. Um, hard drives are still useful today if you need a large amount of space for data that you're not going to be accessing often. But for data that you're accessing all the time, just go with an SSD. I mean, I would
The nukes.
I I do have an external hard drive connected to my computer that I use to store like circuit board videos and stuff
Yeah.
to archive them. But I don't I don't even use that hard drive every day. So we're going on so many tangents.
This is the tangent
We were
episode, but
ta-
welcome.
we're, we were talking about game engines and airplanes and all sorts of
Game
stuff.
engines and airplanes and storage devices, oh my. So I'm gonna try out and show a ship that I made a long time ago as well. It uses one bug in it, and that is an overlap here and an overlap for the generators. I don't know if I've shown it before, but in which case I haven't. You can overlap parts in this game
Yes.
fairly easily.
And,
Have I
and
shown
just to clarify, overlapping pieces is not an intended feature of this game.
So, like I had this connected like this, and to overlap the pieces, you just have to have like two connection pieces that are in perfect position. And oh, it would not. It's not letting me. Am I a liar? Maybe.
Maybe they patched it.
I did. There, see.
Where you can. Oh, there you go.
Maybe I just have to have the command module attached to it. I'm not sure, but anyway, it just uses an overlap here and an overlap on the generators. I could have gone way out overboard and overlapped all of these, and that would have been obnoxious. But generally, it uses a lattice framework so that because these generate very fast, 1.2 seconds. It does not use any shields. It primarily relies upon the fast regen of its hull to survive, which you can see generating very fast.
Yeah.
And this is a missile ship, and because of the way that this is located on the ship, it's diagonal on all these. Half of each of these thruster bays will be active going in the forward, back, left, right.
Yeah.
Because this diagonal and this diagonal are all working in tandem. And it has, I don't remember how many. Hold up. Let me check real quick. It has 100 missile launchers along the sides, totaling 200 missiles every time I press the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning it can just eat through most things.
Wow.
It is it's probably the most busted ship I've made.
I just like the swarm of missiles. It's so pretty.
Like, oh no, I'm injured. I can just fly my ship away, and then I'm pretty much regenerated.
Yeah.
I named it.
I think
I named it Hymenoptera because the company that made this, or I guess it's a person, but the publisher, I think it's the publisher, is Anisoptera, which is like the name for the genus for dragonflies, and Hymenoptera is for wasps or ants, I believe, which are.
Gotcha.
I don't remember which one it is. It's been a minute since I made this and named it that. But just because of the swarm of missiles, I'm like, yeah, it's a swarm kind of ship. Holy, yeah, that was a nuke.
That was a nuke. There were like 3 of them that went off in succession.
But yeah, this is very busted ship.
We did point out, I do believe, in an earlier episode, that the more connection points your pieces have, the quicker it regenerates. The ship regenerates.
But because of the lattice work, each of these is interconnected, and so it just regens super fast because there's a lot of connection points making up that lattice work. So I just took advantage of that and then threw a bunch of missiles on the hull because this ship is very weak to nukes.
Yes.
I need to be paying a very close attention to that because I am getting obliterated so easily.
They're stealing your R.
That's fine. I don't mind.
Oh yeah. Don't forget the soundtrack to this game.
The soundtrack is so fucking good.
I watched a video yesterday on YouTube.
Talking about?
Huh?
Talking about this soundtrack or just soundtracks in general?
No, it was a guy playing a mouth harp, but he was playing techno on the mouth harp.
Nice.
And it was kind of amazing. there were funny comments saying like, when the apocalypse happens and we have no power, we know who's going to be directing the rave. Yeah, and people were pointing out like it's a 4,000-year-old instrument, so it's totally possible that there were people back then
doing music
techno
like
music.
Is this from the Blade soundtrack? Is this the Blade rave music?
Another person talked about like how their techno bard D&D character is actually like realistic.
Don't come after me, it's realistic.
Dang, you got so much R storage. You were just able
it's just the corners are able to hold 1160 each, 1160 each. The main thing that I like about this ship is just like, look how fucking fast it is. It's that fast. It regenerates really fast. And it can generate swarms and missiles so easily.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
There's so many different ways you could build it too. This is just the one that I thought would be funny. If you wanted to recreate this, it's super easy to do. It's just a missile carrier. I might, next time my ship blows up, I'm gonna swap it out for the... Help! The music is overtaking us! I'll swap over to the bow with the antimatter cannons next time I die. Help! That's the problem when I die, so I might like intentionally die here, because otherwise we'll be here for a second. I'll go fight the Sentinels again. They were probably the best faction.
Trade in your resources.
Yeah, there's a station here in the Sentinel zone I can trade with real quick.
Oh yeah.
But between their melee holes, so they do a lot more melee damage when they get close, and the nukes that they're launching at me, they have the best shot at taking me out. So let's stay around here.
I'm just waiting for a nuke.
The nukes will come. There we go.
There we go.
That was the nuke. There you go. There's the nuke.
You see that asteroid that's kind of on fire?
Yeah. It's smoldering. There's one right there, too. That one was caused by a nuke, too. Let's get the hell out of here. I don't want to fight Sentinels for a minute. The thing is we might also revisit this playthrough with a different faction.
Yes.
So we could revisit with a different faction, show off that. But this is going to be the last episode for the time being, however.
Yeah. So are nukes self-destruct weapons, like, only, or can you shoot them, like, as a projectile?
I actually shot at one of them because I saw one. I don't think it didn't destroy when I shot it, meaning either has significantly more health, or either that or I missed. But I don't think, I think it's on contact, it just explodes. I don't think you can shoot them out. I would have to do like more testing because I don't recall what happens when you shoot at them. I don't think they were responding to me shooting at them. They do have a little tiny gun on the front too, which is funny.
Yeah.
Which it's like, why do you need guns on a nuke that's gonna blow up in 5 seconds?
Good question. I just imagine like anti-nuke countermeasures where you just send out a whole bunch of missiles to destroy the nuke, but then the nuke is like real ICBM missiles where they split off into multiple like warheads to that some of them are false to overwhelm like the anti-missile systems.
That'd be funny.
Reassembly Cold War.
My God.
I just gave, what was the name of the
Any Subterra.
I just gave them their next game idea. Reassembly Cold War.
You build battleships. There you go.
You don't spend the game fighting. You just upgrade more and more weapons, and your opponent also just keeps upgrading. And then eventually one of you will collapse due to like economic instability and stuff, so yeah.
Also, another weakness of this ship is that it has the antimatter cannons in the very front, so they take quite a bit of ray damage.
Yes, I did notice that. That is quite the weakness, because it doesn't take too long for your weapon systems to just become kind of useless.
I think I corrected that on later versions of the ship, but since I like downscaled it and did not take a lot of time tinkering with it, it's that weakness is very glaring right now. But I did my best to mitigate that weakness on later models.
Yeah. Like right there. Couldn't really fire anything.
You can also show off these ships and training as well. Like,
Yeah.
What is that cube? What is that cube?
We gotta see.
You can't just show me the cube and not explain what the cube does. What is your AI? Hold up. What is your AI? Yeah, kite. Good. Okay, it's on kite. That's good. The cubes. I like how it's not even in range. My ship's already shot. Okay, Jesus.
Ooh. It is pretty funny how a lot of the designs that people default to in this game are just cubes because you don't have to account for aerodynamics.
Right. I just don't go for them because I like boring.
Yeah.
So most of the ships I've made are, well, I did show off a cube, so I'm one to talk, but for the most part, I try to stray away from those kind of designs. I like angular designs. Like the, what is it? What did we call it? The amethyst?
Yeah.
The humble amethyst, I think it was. How do I speed up time? They're just stalling.
Compound Archer versus Mother. Is it going to be able to defeat the Dirty Reds?
Or it just gets far enough away that they stand still.
This might be a ship that's more effective when it's being controlled by a human.
That is true.
What about
the cube Hymenoptera?
Hymenoptera.
Oh wait, let me check out its behavior first, real quick. What is your behavior on? Height, good. Now do your thing. This one's unedited though.
Destroy.
This one is unedited though. I built it this way, and I know how fucking terrifying it is. It's probably better when controlled by an AI because the AI can do a bunch of little tiny baby micro adjustments and fly around anything that you try to hit it with.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because I can't do the small little minuscule micro adjustments when stuff is shooting at me. This shit, the AI can.
Let's see how much red just gets melted.
The problem with a lot of testing in this game is that if they drift too far apart, they both like the ship fleets stand still and so nothing happens.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't even know which ship they're targeting right now. Is it just all anything? Okay, they stand still.
It's just kind of bullying the red ships now because it's not necessarily killing them, but it's like beating them up.
Whoa. Oh, I paused it. How do I unpause it?
Oh.
There we go. It's P.
What is this ship?
I don't know. Oh, what is that? What is that? What are those?
Wow.
I don't know what those do. It is running though.
Yeah, it's got kind of that little. Oh, it regenerated pretty fast too.
Interesting ship design. What is that line of thrusters?
That's how it was able to run away so fast.
I can see what the ship wants to do. But it doesn't work well in this kind of environment because they're just gonna stall out. I believe they're both on kite mode. So I'm just gonna end it.
I'll be interested to see what that black ship is. Kind of looks like the same kind of theory.
But I believe it's the same. I think that might be our fact. Question mark? I'm not sure. I see what look like flak cannon, so my guess is it's our faction. But we're just gonna kite them, or they're just gonna run right past us and. Okay.
It does have a lot of armor in the front.
I like how the ship's name is Deceleration.
Nihilite.
These are wonky ass ships, huh? I don't know how close we are, but
we got about 4 minutes left.
Let's see. Anything else you want to visit before we end the episode? I think I'm gonna end it by going through a wormhole.
I don't know. I don't think so. It'll just be interesting to play this game again where we actually fix the agent issue and
I heard that there might be mods to fix that, but we'll have to get a better look at that when that time comes.
Yeah. Oh, show.
You know another funny thing?
What's that?
I built this ship and controlled it using a trackpad. It was built it was built when we were in high school, and I just had my laptop, which has the trackpad, and so I primarily played this ship with a trackpad, and it was obnoxious.
Yeah, I remember that.
Quick, get to the wormhole. That is a lie. It won't generate agents.
Liar.
Entirely new world.
No agent.
No agent still.
Not a single agent.
Well, it was worth a shot to see if it would generate new agents, but unfortunately, no. with that,
Disappointing.
I think we might finish off the Reassembly series for now. We might revisit it. I would be interested in doing a Tinkerer playthrough or a Sentinel playthrough. Those are the ones that I'm probably most interested in. I'm not very good at building with Crystalline or Red Faction ship parts. So I would probably stick away from those ones.
Yeah.
You could actually, if you want, you could take control of the next time we play, and you can design your own stuff.
You know, I would, there's probably not a whole lot of playthroughs of Reassembly online where people don't just stick to the main faction, the default
That's
faction.
true. Huh.
So it would be interesting to
Do a
see
non-Terran playthrough.
Yeah. Probably be unique. Although, maybe there are a lot, maybe, there's probably some
Tinkerels are
on
very
YouTube.
popular because of the custom guns you can make, but Terrans are the default vanilla, that's the one that everyone goes with. So
Yeah.
that's what most people go with. Anyway, as we drift and listen to the soundtrack, I'd like to thank you all for watching.
Yes. Reassembly will return, probably. Um, if, unless we can't, figure out the issues, but anyway.
For now,
Thanks for watching this series. Look forward to Pokemon, and yeah, thanks for watching. And if you liked the video, then like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next episode of Circuit Horde. Take care, everybody.